Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio. Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio. RoughEdgeFM.com.
There's so much going on in your community that even in this age of information, it's tough to keep up. This show will help. It's all about what's new, what's happening, and what's out there. So if you're ready, sit back and listen up, Santa Paula.
Yo!
Yes, we're back.
Ho, ho, ho. Christmas is 12 months or 10 months away.
I know it's going by quick, huh? We're just talking before the show that, we're already like 6 weeks into the year.
I know, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's very crazy. And the weeks are blending into each other. So I was just mentioning off air that I think I blew off Richard Redmond twice now on the farmer's market to go down and do magic. But I can't remember if I talked to him on Monday or if I talked to him the week before. And it was probably the week before because I don't know.
All the dates just kind of all jumbled together.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how busy we are now with everything.
Yeah. And if it doesn't go on the calendar, like if somebody just talks to me, forget it. It's gone.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen.
It's amazing how we depend so much on our calendar on our phone.
Yes.
I can't function without that.
No.
Yeah. It's
no.
crazy.
If I didn't have that, it's hard enough to remember to look at it. Never mind not have it at all.
You almost have to constantly put your reminders on there to sort of pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't really have that a lot, and I probably should because I have missed a meeting on occasion.
Julie says, "Why do you have your reminder set to 10 minutes before the event? By that time, it's too late."
True.
And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point because I got to go to Camarillo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I used to put it like a 1 hour reminder. Then I did like a 30-minute reminder. So,
because during the 1 hour you get busy and then you'd forget.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And then I for some reason, I don't have that on my phone anymore. But in the morning I'll get up and I'll look at what kind of day I'm going to have. And then I kind of plan my day accordingly.
Yeah.
So
I do the same thing, but then I forget as the day moves on.
Yeah, good thing you gave me a reminder because I wasn't going to come. So today,
I was like, wow.
No, I actually got busy doing some stuff and some productive stuff. I was being productive this morning.
Okay.
Chamber stuff, getting it all set up and getting it out there. We have our downtown business improvement district meeting this afternoon. So I was getting all that stuff set for the meeting, to present to the business owners today. So.
And you forgot it was Wednesday.
Yeah. So
I thought you died, honestly.
Really?
I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if something happened to John.
Well, remember, I was gone last week for a few days at my conference.
Right.
And then just trying to get caught up this week.
I thought you came back and you died.
No.
So
no, I'm still here, I think.
Right. Well, that's good.
So, and my granddaughter had her first birthday yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
So that was, we did the family thing yesterday. So this is like day 2 of me being back from my conference. So it's just, I was able to sit in the office and get caught up on a lot of things.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But you forgot about me.
No, you were on the calendar. I knew I was coming. I was actually starting to wrap up everything when you text me, and I'm like, that's why I said I'll be there in 10.
Okay.
I think I was hearing like 15 because there's a lot of construction going on, on Harvard and stuff. So it takes a little while to maneuver through it. So
speaking of Harvard, is now they had hoped by the spring they would have that thing paved. Are we a little behind on the project?
I think it is a little behind. Weather plays something to do with it too, and some other things they found. But it's tentatively set to start in, I think paving's in April.
Oh, okay.
Start, pending any other delays, and they should have it done by July, August. By the time they get everything done.
Wow.
So it's coming along. I mean, I think they're done for the most part of the massive digging and major things. I think now it's just starting to put the surface infrastructure together.
Apparently you didn't drive by yesterday.
No.
Because over here by Peck and Telephone, there were some pretty big holes in there.
It's probably the last minute things that they're finding and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, a lot of that stuff's 100 years old.
Yeah, I know.
So if we're going to do it, let's do it right, So I'm sure that's, last year we had this crazy weather and, we've had some rain recently and we're going to get more rain. So I'm sure it's going to delay things.
Right.
But if people go to the city website, and you go on their main page, and you'll see where there's a link for the Harvard project on there. And then
it gives you a timeline,
and it shows you kind of the estimated timeline. So
nice.
I think the plan is August to have everything completed, but is it really completed? Once they do that, then it's, you got to put in the trees and do all the other signage and all. So I'm sure it's an ongoing process. So hopefully by the end of the year, everything's done, and then once that's done,
they'll start paving another road.
Exactly. Yeah. But what we're going to do as a chamber, we're going to start working on helping market that district, the business district right there, because, they've gone through a couple years of construction and everything. So we're going to reach out to our chamber members that are there and see if we can do some planning and marketing and stuff to help bring people back to that district and remind people that, yeah, it is open now, and please come and support them too.
Mm-hmm.
I know we put a lot of focus always on downtown, which is a driving force for our community, but once that's done, it's going to be a beautiful street, and it's important that we all support them as well.
Sure.
So we'll come up with a strategy and how to help support them. And, first thing we always do is reach out to our members, ask them what their thoughts are, and then we'll bring it to the rest of the community as well. So hopefully we'll come up with something.
Cool. Yeah. So I understand you had some good news.
Yeah. Through the chamber, part of our commitment to helping support the community, we've been asked to help facilitate part of the Isabella Project, which is the early childhood education project to provide free early childhood education for the community. It's a pilot program. It's been going on for a few years now, and the Ventura County Community Foundation, which has been fantastic for numerous things, not just this, but they've done, during the census, they took the lead on that. They've done business outreach during COVID, and they do a lot of other great things out there. And shout out to Vanessa Bechtel, their CEO, and she does a great job with them. But they reached out to the chamber and asked if we could take the lead on reaching out to the business district, throughout the community, all of our businesses, to let them know the opportunities for early childhood education. And a lot of it is free or low cost. And I don't know if a lot of people know that, but you see what it costs for daycare, right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a shortage of certified daycare centers, since the pandemic. But, there's also the school district now has some TK centers there that are free. And
now, early childhood, what age would that be considered?
Well, we're taking on the 0 to 5.
Wow.
So it starts.
So that's early.
It starts when before they're born. It's just providing information. Say, hey, here's the resources for you. Not necessarily, here's the educational part, because that's not there yet. But it's also providing for a mom or whoever that's here's the information as far as taking care of yourself. Here's the resources you can use, and a lot of it is free or low cost. So the goal is to hopefully have everything as free as possible, but I mean, there are some things that have associated costs to it, but they've provided us a grant to bring in somebody. So we are going to hire somebody, and that person's going to help me and our team with facilitating this to go to every business that we can here in the community to let them know about the information that's available, and then have that continuous open dialogue for the future, which could lead to other things too. We did this a few years ago with the business outreach during COVID, and we touched over 400 businesses in a matter of a couple of weeks. So we're going to kind of take that same approach and let them know, hey, this stuff's available. You may not know about it, but it's here. And, if you want more information, here's where you go, and so we'll help facilitate as much as we can, because I hate to see if you have a small business that's barely making ends meet, but yet they're paying a fortune for their kids to go to preschool or daycare or whatever. Maybe we can find something that'll help save them a little bit of money, so that's kind of what we're going to do for the foundation and for Project Isabella, is to start taking on the role of the business sector. And it's not just the brick and mortars, it's home-based businesses.
Mm-hmm.
There may be some home-based daycare centers that may not have some information, like, maybe the school district can provide some extra resources for them to teach the kids stuff, instead of having the kids sit in front of a TV all day, or they're doing, provide them some materials. So
That's my method of babysitting.
yeah,
Here's a controller. Here's a monitor.
but it's just opening it up to let them know there are other things out there, because a lot of people may not know that there's a lot of free resources in our area. I mean, when my wife and I had our kids, we paid a fortune for daycare. We had twins, but there may have been something out there, but I never knew about it.
Right.
And some companies actually pay for or give them stipends for daycare, but what do you do for small mom and pops out here?
Right.
Or even some of them that are watching grandkids and stuff. My parents, when they had their business downtown, they watched our kids. That was our babysitter, as my wife and I were working, because we couldn't afford, daycare at some point. And but they would have benefited from maybe having some materials too, or something that's out there. And even letting them know, as simple as, hey, the community center has these rec programs for kids. Maybe not have them just sit in front of the TV or whatever you do. There's a 2-hour program that they have that's free or low cost, but get them that information. So we're not sure exactly where we're going to go with it yet. It's going to be, now that we've got this, we're going to sit and talk with all the organizations. There's over 90 organizations that are involved in this project.
Wow.
So we're going to evaluate what we have, how we can best access some of these resources, and then we'll work with the foundation to develop a plan as far as what we're going to provide to the businesses. And this is over time. So it's not like we're just going to give you the packet and say, see you later. No, we're going to continuously come back and give you updates and other opportunities that are there. And so it's opening that communication for the community. And it helps us as a chamber. It helps the city to open the communication. We'll be updating information from businesses too, to make sure we're talking to the right people. So it's a long process. So, but we're happy and fortunate that the foundation trusts us to come out and do this. And we'll partner with the city. We're going to partner with the school district, because since the school district has those facilities first, we're going to partner with them and just see how we can reach out as fast as we can and as much as we can. And we'll see where it goes, but it's a great pilot program, and we're going to this is probably over the next 10 years. And if we do this right, this is the model program for the rest of the county that hopefully we can duplicate.
Oh, wow.
Throughout the county. So there's kind of a lot to this project. We've been 2 to 3 years into it now. And so we're hoping over the next 2 to 3 years, we can start moving the needle, and so we're happy about receiving that, and we'll work on the next steps coming up soon once we finalize everything.
Very cool.
So, we're happy about that.
Nice. So as you know, we have Santa Paula Film Festival coming up in July.
Yes, excited about this. Getting some traction too. People are talking about it. Yeah, that's great.
Yep. And I just found out that we weren't listed in Film Freeway because we have to have a valid website. And I'm like, we have a valid website. Well, they kept putting it in .com instead of .org. And so we should be listed publicly now on Film Freeway going forward, which will be good.
So how do they make that mistake? Is it?
It was probably me when I first initially filled out the stuff.
See, I didn't want to say it was you, so that's why I asked the question that way.
Yeah.
So I knew it was you, but
okay.
Yeah, I was being nice.
So you set me up.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't honestly, when you first came up with that, we were talking about that. First thing I do is you go to .com, and I'm like, where is it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I believe I have the .com domain as well, but I'm going to, if I do, I'll use that as a forwarding address.
Yeah, exactly. So
because .org typically represents nonprofit, and but a lot of people are just so accustomed to doing .com.
Yeah.
Although now you can have every domain .whatever under the sun if you want. You can have .us. You can have.
I'm amazed at how much is out there. We get a lot of our stuff through the company GoDaddy. And when you put in one thing, it's like, well, there's 8 different other, dot something you could add to it for this much money. I'm like, I don't need all that, So, yeah.
We have a site that's called Brainworks, and it's actually brainworks.academy. So it's an educational site.
Yeah.
And so you go brainworks.academy. So people will do brainworks.academy.com, and it's like, no, the .academy is the domain.
That's so confusing.
Yeah.
The way they have that set. And it's to me, it's all about money.
Well, that, and they have over 1 billion websites.
Yeah, but you run out of here. Oh, let's just add something else to it and sell them all again.
Right.
So it's so confusing
Because you got to buy them all. You don't want anyone else taking one of the names that's close to yours.
Yeah, you can buy this site for $2.99 a year, but then if you want these 12 other ones, it's $3,000. So yeah, that's how they get you.
Yep.
So it's crazy how all that works.
So that'll be coming up July 25th, and
Yes.
so we are now accepting registrations or submissions. So hopefully we'll get some of that stuff firing pretty soon. We got to reach out to the schools and to the college.
We need to get a press release, a full-on press release to advertise that.
I will do that.
Do you know somebody who writes a press release?
I do.
Okay.
I would do that. I'll send that to Marcus and say, write us a press release.
Yeah, something. And then I mean, we also have to include some categories and stuff like that. Maybe it's just and more to come or something.
Yeah, the
categories, right?
Yeah, the categories we have right now are features, shorts, student films, and Spanish films.
Yes, good. That's perfect for our community.
Right. So there's 4 categories to choose from.
And who are we partnering with? Who's running the film festival? It's not just you.
No.
It's
well,
not just
you're
me.
talking about like you.
Oh, yeah. So who's involved?
Santa Paula Theater Center.
Exactly. Our friend Jessie Mae Stevenson.
That's right.
Theater Center.
So I'm on nighttime cold medicine during the day.
Oh my God, you are.
Whoever thought of that idea?
Wow. Oh.
So
did Julie do that on purpose for you?
Yesterday, I was at about 6:30. I'm like, man, I gotta go home. I'm just gonna
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then driving home, I think I made it home.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, you're here, so apparently you made it home.
I ended up waking up out of my bed.
Wow.
So although I'm not sleeping in my bed, I'm sleeping in the guest bedroom.
So that wouldn't be the first time you have woke up and not in your bed, right? There you go. Yeah. But that's exciting to have. I mean, we're so happy we can bring this as to the communities. And it's not just Santa Paula. I'm sure we will get Fillmore, maybe Piru, and some other ones also. But it's really cool to see that we can bring this. It's a version of the arts that is needed. I mean, you just saw they just did the Santa Barbara Film Festival. It's crazy what they do up there.
Oh, yeah.
And all the stars. I mean, maybe at one point down the line, we'll get a bunch of stars here, but we got one. We got Travis.
Yeah.
So there you go. Beat his ego a little bit there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great way to start. And then you can see the potential of what it could be, And I look at it through my eyes with what we do. It's great to see students get involved.
Oh yeah.
And then our Latino films also, because that's kind of an up and coming thing also you're seeing, but just to see the creativity of our younger generation. And I mentioned that to somebody about this and somebody said, well, what about us older folks? And I'm like, you can do it too, we're not saying you can't.
You want a senior category?
Yeah, we can do something, but it's just cool to watch our next generation and what their thoughts and how they put things together. And I mean, you see it doing what you do too.
Well, and for me, it's all about opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating an opportunity for people. And, so many of these film festivals, there's so many submissions going that they only take the best of the best. Yeah. And there's so many people that have decent stuff, but they'll never get accepted because there's too many and they miss the opportunity. And for me, it's all about opportunity.
Is that kind of how you see Santa Barbara? They've gotten so big. Maybe that's kind of how it is now.
Yeah.
But who's to say we can't feed off of what they do and say, okay, well, we're not there, but we're right here. And here's another opportunity for some other films.
Right.
So, but it'd be interesting to see the creativity in Ventura County in general.
Right.
Because you don't hear a lot about filmmakers here in Ventura County.
Yeah, and the films films come from all over.
Yeah.
There are people that will have films submitted that they'll never be able to come out to the festival because they're submitting it from Germany.
Whatever, but it's just it would be interesting. Maybe there's got to be a local category, like a local film, Ventura County based film. And that way, because like you said, you get them from all over. I mean, but if we do our first Santa Paula one, and it's like the winners or all the categories are from outside of the area, maybe we need to have a local.
That's a good point.
So I mean, I think that's important that we focus on, a feature, a short, a student, and a Latino-based film, all local.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, we can easily create that category because if we see that they're submitting from locals,
they could qualify for two. They qualify for the main one, or they qualify for the local one.
Right.
You know, that way, I mean, if it's great and it is a local one, then they should be in the top category, whatever it is. But then it opens up an opportunity for somebody else too.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that we push local.
I think that's a great idea.
You really should. So that gives you an opportunity to submit your film. So
I got to finish it.
No, but I you know, because Oxnard's doing some great stuff in their school district, and you see all the. I mean, you know a lot of them in this county here that a lot of them live here, but then they do stuff outside of the county. So it gives them an opportunity. I mean, as simple as we're starting, at least it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know? So
no, I agree 100%.
All right.
So
now we got another round of categories. There we go.
Yeah, I know. So one of the things that kind of crossed my mind, and it's funny because you kind of alluded to it, is that you know, for a business, we kind of. So how do I jump into this? So the topic that I was talking about is we're preaching to the same old audience, but in reality, what it is that how do you stand out amongst where now everybody is a star? And what I meant by that is, as a business, when you're trying to make your business stand out, everybody has access to the same free stuff. Everybody has access to being able to post up videos. Everybody has access to being able to do stuff on social media. Everybody has access to you know, SEO on the web. And quite honestly, everybody is a celebrity now because everybody's looking for their 15 minutes of fame. You know, get that one video that's going to be, you know, a trendsetter or a why am I forgetting the word? When a video viral, you know, getting that next viral video. So when, as a small business, if you just continually do the same thing where you're doing your posts to social media and you're putting up your stuff on Instagram and you're, you know, maybe writing a few blogs, you're always preaching to the same choir. And, you know, we've noticed it because we do a lot. We do digital marketing for other businesses, which is where our main focus is to focus on them, not on us. But when you're doing something and somebody is like, you know, how many followers do you have? Well, I'm not concentrating on our followers. I'm concentrating on your followers. But the reality is, you know, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And so we started looking at the fact that if you don't advertise, if you don't pay anything into advertising, if you try to do everything for free, it's essentially what we're discovering is a recipe for failure because you're never going to get outside your boundaries. And so we just recently started advertising with The Knot, and it's $200 and something a month, and you get your listing in the Wedding Knot. And so you hopefully for videography, you get put in front of people and they start to notice you. The Wedding Knot gets 95 million hits a month. Well, if you try to advertise on your own, you're not getting 95 million hits.
No,
you know, you're not even getting close. And so if you don't start going where the people are, then nobody is ever going to recognize you. You got to get to where the people are. And so where are the people? So based on like your market, like in the case of wedding videography, where are people going? Well, the next closest, let's say, what's the tallest mountain in the world?
South Mountain here. South Mountain here.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No,
I know. What is it? Whit
in Washington, right? Mount Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney. I know is
for
really
United
tall.
States, right? Yeah.
So it'd be like, you know, the equivalent to Mount Whitney versus, you know, some little tiny mountain that we have here. Mount Whitney being the knot or the wedding wire, and you know, our social networking being the little mountain that we have in Santa Paula. So you got to take a look at your industry and say, where are my people?
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to invest in some money. I mean, there's just no other way around it. No matter how creative you think you are, or no matter how good you think you are.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why those services are free.
Yeah.
Because they're limited. And the one who's only making the money is that company that's providing that free service for you.
Right.
Through advertising and other things. But, there's other ways. I mean, you look at Facebook, it is what it is with Facebook, and that's kind of a platform that, I know we use and a lot of people use, but it's limited.
And it's designed.
It's designed that way
to make you buy ads.
Exactly. So what do you do? I mean, I know with us, we upped our marketing a little bit more this year because we know we have to invest.
Right.
In order to have the biggest bang for our bucks with our community, we need to invest a little more into it. You can only do free for so long. Yeah, a good example is look at the Super Bowl this year with the commercials and with the halftime show. I was reading yesterday about the halftime show, how the artists do this for free, but they're exposed to over 100 million people, and it's a great service. But then I think last year or the year before, one of them invested in their own money, like $6 or $7 million into putting that production on. Even though they performed for free, they invested in that, but the record sales were through the roof, and they're going to make that tenfold back. But they invested a little bit of money into it, even though it was a free marketing campaign but they put more money into it because they knew what was going to happen. And guess what? Like they have, the performer here, Usher, record sales went through the roof that same day, and he announces a tour, which is going to sell it like that. So what do you think he's going to get?
Right.
So his volunteer or giving up his time and investing a little bit into that production, look what it's going to turn out for him.
Isn't it great to be that kind of an entertainment event that you can say you got to work for us for free?
Yeah.
But
they get a $15 million budget, which is for all everything else, but then they go on top of that. And I guess the last 3 or 4 artists have invested millions into it on top of their budget, and it's just shot through the roof. You look at these commercials, they're what they say, paying $7 million for a 30-second commercial, but yet again, you're in front of over 100 million people. Good bang for your buck, right?
Right.
That way. Or do you do a little bit and just keep doing all these little local things,
Right.
So, there was it Dunkin' Donuts, that one commercial they had with Ben Affleck and stuff, and they sold those jumpsuits that next day, sold out in an instant because of that commercial and all the stuff that they did with it. How do you think that's going to do for their name brand?
So I have a confession to make. I did not watch the Super Bowl,
and
I did not see it in the commercials.
Oh, well, some of them were okay, but just the audience that they invest in is crazy.
Oh, yeah. And they're paying $7 million for that
30-second space.
But how many millions did they spend to produce it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then what's the return on investment?
Right.
And when you're over 100 million people, you're worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
So what better? I think that's a good investment for a lot of you. Everybody's like, oh, it's so expensive. But you know what? Probably a good investment when they look at the long-term benefits of what they're going to get. So and I think for most of it's been huge. So to your point, it is good to invest a little bit in because you could increase your exposure.
So what do you think the strongest part of marketing is? Awareness, findability, reputation, or advocacy?
Well, impact.
The shortest path to closing a sale.
Shortest path.
Yeah.
What does it say? Purchase on there. Purchase? Is that what it says there?
Yeah.
Purchase. Yeah.
So the shortest path is people talking about you.
Yep.
So if you don't have people talking about you, then you have to start by building awareness, and then people need to know that you're even there and that you have something they need you to they want, and then they have to be able to find you, and then they're going to want to look at your reputation online, and then you're going to have to convert them.
Yeah.
But if you have an advocate, then most likely that advocate is going to turn them into a conversion.
It's going to bypass a lot.
It's going to bypass all of that.
Yeah.
So the word of mouth is obviously the best recipe for success, which is free. But if you don't have a big enough population, word of mouth is only going to take you so far.
A good example, word of mouth, is restaurants.
Yes.
You go in there, and if it's great food, guess what? Somebody starts posting about it, people are going to go. The minute they say the food's not very good, what's going to happen?
Right.
Then they have to turn around and do that journey like you have up there.
Right. Convince people,
so and that happens a lot, so no, that's great. That's a good example there.
Yeah, and I think the problem for us with small business, if you're talking about McDonald's, everybody knows McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't have to sell to anybody. I mean, they have to advertise.
Yet they spend a lot on advertising.
Yeah. They do, but it's not like they're a foreign, entity that you go, gee, I want some fast food. What are our options? Obviously, everybody knows McDonald's is an option.
It's usually the first thing that pops up in your head.
Sure.
Because it's readily available everywhere.
Yep. You take somebody like us, and, first of all, you got to even convince people that they want to do like an escape room, for example. Because that's not, people aren't sitting there going, gee, what do I want to do today? Oh, it's got to be something that they saw or something that causes it to pop in their head. And they say, oh, you know what? I saw this. And, or a friend of theirs went and said, oh my gosh, I went to this escape room. It was really fun. You guys should do it.
Influencers.
Yes. Influencers. Exactly.
And that's a good avenue for maybe a small business or something that can't afford the other part. Look for the influencers.
Yeah.
Every city's got one or several of them.
Yep.
And that's a good way to help bypass some of that stuff too. That's got a huge amount of followers.
Right.
It's short term and it's only going to last for so long, but it may help you jumpstart to do the path. Create a better path. So.
Yeah. And it's a dilemma because, the first thing we always say in school, the first thing that gets cut in schools is the arts. So if they have budget cuts, the arts is the first thing to go. In a small business, the first thing to go is the marketing dollars.
Yeah.
And so it's like in school, we say, the arts are a part of every aspect of our life. That is such a vital part of somebody's growth, yet it's the first thing to go.
Yeah.
And marketing dollars is such a vital part of a business health, yet it's the first thing that goes.
Yeah. It's just the mentality, I think, of how we've been trained in our society.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a whole lot of importance. I mean, you see right now there's trying to a resurgence of the arts and stuff coming back, but not everybody's convinced.
Right.
You go to some areas.
Still sports.
Yeah, like Ventura. Well, because it generates funds.
Yeah.
What's the biggest money maker in high school or schools? Sports.
Right.
The arts doesn't generate a whole lot, a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Right.
So everything is always centered back to what generates funding.
Right.
It's like you look at colleges, what brings in the most money? The high profile sports.
Right. And for business, marketing brings in money, but you don't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't realize it that until you finally cut, and then all of a sudden you go, why we're not businesses slowing down even more. So now we got to cut even more.
Yeah. The tough part is getting them in your business. Once you get in the business, they get in there, they see what's available. Usually that's how they start building their customer base, but it's just getting them to come in the door.
Right.
I mean, I'll give a quick example. This last Friday, we had our sip and shop downtown for Valentine's Day weekend. There was a ton of people downtown in the evening, Friday night, which was my wife and I went there. We saw so many people downtown shopping. It was great for the businesses, and I'm like, they all banded together and they kind of did their own kind of, the chamber helped support it too, but it was just like they all banded together and say, hey, instead of us individually trying to, let's do it as a whole. And it had a huge impact on downtown.
Nice.
So small business, they can figure out, they don't have to do it alone. There's plenty of other people around them that can help support, even if it's your neighbor. Hey, let's promote together, save us a few bucks or whatever, invest a little. Every one of them invested a little bit into it in order to make it happen. whether it's buying refreshments or whatever, or even contribute to the advertising. So I I see what you're saying about the investment. I hope everybody does do that. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, it's taking a leap of faith.
Yeah, that's hard.
So
that's hard when you're in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's tough for everybody.
Yep.
But it's okay to get out of once in a while.
So real quick, we're a little over time. So real quick, though, we have our show coming up at the Santa Paula Theater Center on February 21st at 7 p.m. We had a donor that is graciously giving away 10 tickets to the Boys and Girls Club as well as to the Spirit of Santa Paula. Yeah. So if you're in the area, come check out a great show. It's going to be Ron Saylor and myself. And we have the Mixer.
Yeah, well, the Mixer, we're going to announce the date probably next week. We'll figure it out. I know we have a tentative date. We may need to move it. Farmers Market every Saturday 10
morning.
To 2. It's great. I mean, Ananda, our market manager, has built it up. A lot of great things are great. Different
Ananda.
Things your favorite. We have our Chamber State of the City and Chamber Awards coming up in April. We'll have an announcement for that real soon. But all the information on all the events, go to santapaulachamber.com. For the whole valley, what's the site we go on?
For the whole valley, it is heritagevalleyca.org.
Yes. You got information on every Santa Paula, Fillmore, Pirate,
all three,
and all the surrounding areas of what's going on. And your site?
And my site is thomagic.org. And if you want to learn more about the film festival, go to santapaulafilmfestival.org. And
there's no way. Oh, and the city. spcity.org.
spcity.org.
Yeah, they've got a lot of great information on there. If you want to start a business, just want to see what's going on in the community, see what's happening with all the commissions. You want to join, be part of the community. City's got a new academy coming up too, and I'll talk about that in the next show.
Yeah, and we got the city video newsletters going back out again, and
there's no way people can't not know what's going on.
Oh, they'll figure out.
And you got Santa Paula Times, comes out twice a week.
Yeah.
That's all the information. There's so many ways to get information in this community,
and yet people still don't know.
Got to get out the box every once in a while, But yeah, good stuff.
Alrighty. Thanks everybody for listening. We will see y'all next week at 11 o'clock, our normal time, because John will not be on vacation.
No,
so
I'll be here.
Yeah, you're always here.
I am.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll talk to y'all next week.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.